Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We thank you all for attending today's Platform Analytics Academy session. Hopefully that is what you are here for. So I am Dan Kane. You are not hearing the regular Thomas Davis voice. Thomas is on special assignment, so he will not be here today. I'll be guiding us through. For today, just a reminder for all of our Academy sessions. It is first and foremost, it is for you. This is a means that we try to enable all of our customers, try to give them information on upcoming features, how to do, some of the best practices of how to accomplish things, fresh ideas, better understanding. So please ask questions. We are recording, so this session is being recorded and will be posted publicly. I'm a rookie at posting the recording, so we'll see if it gets there by tomorrow, but I'm hoping it will. So if there are any issues with recording, with if any questions you ask or anything of that sort, if you have any concerns with the recording, we just ask that you would probably either leave now or just do not post any questions. Regarding questions, there is the separate Q&A panel within Zoom, so please use that Q&A panel to ask questions instead of the chat. The chat would be more of you just have more of like a general feedback. I'm not hearing anything or something like that. The putting questions in the Q&A makes sure that they get recorded and tracked using all the automated systems. So we actually have a track of what questions are being asked, so we can actually do a pretty neat little summary for you at the end, and makes it a lot easier to search for questions down the road. So just a reminder of that. This is definitely important for today. Want to make sure the reminder of our safe harbor for forward-looking statements. And you've probably seen this many times before, but essentially what we're saying is if we do make any comments or statements about something that is not yet available publicly in the software, all of those statements are subject to change, and that's what we're talking about today. Will be things that are absolutely subject to change. We feel pretty firm at this point, but absolutely things can and do change between this presentation and when the functionality will be live for customers. So just a reminder of that. Today, as I mentioned, I'm Dan Kane. I am hosting for you. I'm the substitute host today, and our main presenter today will be Amir. Amir is one of our product managers and presenting on Platform Analytics Generation. So I think this is one that there's been a lot of excitement for. So I will pass it off. I think so. Amir, it is all yours. You may start sharing if you would like.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining. I hope I'm audible and you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes.
Perfect. So as Dan mentioned, my name is Amir Ligata. I'm the PM product manager on Platform Analytics team. And I'm very excited today to be talking about analytics generation. And I'm joined by the panelists. So Dan, Adam, and Zahi are here today as well, and we are looking forward to your questions. So keep it coming. From time to time, I'll make a pause and I'll check the questions, and I might answer something along the way. But Zahi, Adam, and Dan might respond in real time. So feel free to keep putting those questions along the way. So with that out of our way, the way we have prepared the session today, it obviously consists of two pieces. So the first 20-25 minutes or so, I'm going to go through a number of slides, which will be basically an introduction to analytic generation, what it is, and what we have been busy with in the last couple of months or a year. So analytic generation is a skill family that we are introducing starting from August. And it includes different capabilities that are being rolled out that combine Gen AI for analytics space. After that, I'll kind of zoom into the first skill that we have released in August, and in a few short weeks, we will be delivering another drop, another release with new capabilities. And then in the second part, in the last leg of this presentation, I'll switch over to demo. And on the live instance, I'm going to show you a couple of use cases and actually show you in real how some of these capabilities can be used. So that's kind of the outline of the presentation today. I'm just kind of get started. So the first point I want to mention has to do with challenges, and hopefully by challenges we mean what are the challenges that we are trying to address with analytic generation, with Gen AI capabilities, and the new technology. And I hope some of these will resonate with you. And feel free to keep putting questions or adding some comments if you have something to add to this. So there are kind of three high-level challenges that we are trying to address from left to right. The first one has to do with complex interfaces. So in spite of our best effort to make the tools and products related to platform analytics and analytics in general intuitive and easy to use through self-service manner, there's still a learning curve, and not all user personas and employees in organizations are capable to generate a data visualization, to find an insight or create a dashboard. So those interfaces are still a barrier for a broader adoption within enterprises. Second challenge has to do with extended lead time. So a lot of our customers have confirmed hypothesis, which is that there are designated teams in the enterprises that are owning analytics and are generating dashboards, maintaining and building new data visualization. And it just happens to take time from the request that a certain team puts in to the moment when a certain analytics artifacts is available, which kind of causes certain delays in leveraging the information and data that the enterprises possess. And last one is what we call as data sources, but it's actually a certain lack of awareness or understanding underlying data structure tables, or simply sometimes you don't know what a certain data table name is, what a certain column is, which indicator you have that are associated to those tables, and so forth. So these are different challenges in a very high level. It is by no means the full list. And we have been doing, and we have been talking to you and a number of customers, and we are kind of continuously collecting feedback to make sure that the pain points that the enterprises and our customers have are addressed through these capabilities. So that's the first one. So the next one, this should not come as a surprise to you here. So Now Assist is a Gen AI capability under which ServiceNow is rolling out a number of features across different licensing and packaging offers. So Now Assist is a way for users to access information, get things done, or simply be more productive and efficient. So in that kind of spirit, we are also rolling out analytic generation feature. It's just a kind of to set the scene for what is going to come in the following slide. So Now Assist is a conversational panel that is accessible from anywhere in the platform, and the user can simply click on that sparkle on the top right, and the Now Assist panel will open up, and you can get access to different skills. So that's kind of where we start from, and the way we are going to deliver analytics generation currently. So that's kind of Now Assist, just to kind of reiterate. So Now Assist being kind of the central gravitation point for everything Gen AI and ServiceNow platform. We're also kind of pushing our skill, and the skill family for our features within analytics family is called analytics generation. So on a very high level, what are we trying to achieve with analytics generation is listed here. So at the very core, we want to empower and enable users to use text to interact with analytics and generate analytics artifacts and get things done in the analytics arena. Some of the outcomes are, again, listed here, so I'm not going to read through slides, but obviously it has to do with empowering different user personas across enterprise, not necessarily the ones that are super familiar with platform analytics, but also some that are kind of less technical savvy and can simply using this self-service approach generate analytics artifacts or kind of explore some insights that are needed at that point in time for that user persona. So I'm gonna spend 1 minute talking about some of the strategic direction, which are again pretty uh, straightforward and something that we look to leverage going forward within this analytic generation. So there are a couple of things, and I'll try to be brief here because it's kind of more strategy, but again, it should not come as a surprise. So first, with analytics generation, we want to leverage this contextual awareness of a user persona, which is at a different point during the day, the different contexts from workspaces to dashboard to lists. So there can be different starting points. So we would really want to leverage and collect those metadata points to provide enriched experience. The second point, which is kind of related to conversation and dialogue-based interaction, and that is this interaction depth. So we want to drive the conversation with the user and then help them get the answers they want. And the last kind of level that we are looking to reach has to do with learning and actionability. So I'm going to come back to this, but this is kind of strategic directions which are pretty common for Gen AI use cases. The second point, when we talk about analytics, there are kind of three fundamental pillars that we are going to be exploring. So the first one of obviously is conversation. At the very center of everything Gen AI these days is a conversation, and LLMs that are used for textual interpretation and basically enhanced experience through conversation. The second one is analytics. So we are not losing sight of what are we doing, which is analytics and providing insights to our users. And when we talk about analytics artifacts, there can be different things, as we will see later. And the last pillar is actually actions. So not only do we provide certain answers to our users, but we're also providing actions they can take on that. And those actions range from some simple things like adding it to the dashboard or customizing or modifying or editing, but also it can basically lead to different interactions between different skills. So those are kind of fundamental pillars for analytics generation. Very quickly on the user personas, which by no means have to be related to this. So I think I've spent quite some time in the previous minutes talking about who are we targeting here, but actually this slide brings together different information that you are aware of and also that I have shared. So I'm not going to spend that much time here. So at this point, we are getting to the skills themselves. So analytics generation, as I mentioned, is an umbrella or a name for a skill family for analytics. And we are introducing a number of skills under this umbrella. So the first one that we're going to talk about is visualization generation, the second insight generation, and then PowerPoint. Of course, our intention is through time to expand this list and add more and more capabilities. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk briefly about the first skill, which is visualization or data visualization generation. Here is a short, very, very brief description. What it does, it allows users to generate data visualizations or charts from text, from utterances, and with various options. So on a very, very high level, you can generate data visualizations, and as you will see in the demo later, you can add them to dashboards or add it in Data Viz Designer. So that was the scope of our initial release from August, and we are kind of building on that. There's another information here if you have seen having to do with the licenses. So with ServiceNow, there are different licensing approaches when it comes to Gen AI, but to keep it simple, the certain capability or skill can be licensed through Now Sys Creator Pro Plus, which you might be familiar with, or through Ad Pro Plus, like ITSM or CSM or something, some other app. So visualization generation is part of Creator Pro Plus, along with some other skills like flow generation, app generation, and so forth, which again, you will see later in the demo when I open the Now Assist admin panel and when you can see different skills. So that is the scope of data viz generation. Again, this is kind of just an overview. A bit later, I'm going to go in more details and be a bit specific when it comes to certain features and capabilities here. And the second one is insight generation. So here we're actually providing a certain level of abstraction in a sense that we are giving user opportunity to explore insights and information within the context. And that context can be, again, a list or workspace or a dashboard. Basically, no matter what the context is, there is a certain number of data underneath and the data tables and indicators. And we want to kind of bridge the gap between that data and the insights that the users want to extract out of. And it sounds simple, but it is a very delicate approach. And we're going to talk about it a bit later. So this is a new skill that will be coming out in February. So with that mentioned, let me move to the third one. So the third one is PowerPoint generation. And I want to make a very important point. I'll mention a bit more on the PowerPoint generation. And you might remember this was demoed at the Last Knowledge. What are we doing here actually has to do with the dashboard export capability, which has been there for some time. And we are continuing, we are building on that capability. Just this time around, we are introducing it through Now Assist as a continuation of, let's say, data viz generation or insight generation. So through PowerPoint generation, we would enable user to export information that is, or charts or reports within dashboard to PowerPoint. And now there are obviously way much more to that, but the very fact that while you are in the conversation and you are generating certain artifacts or updating existing dashboard or trying to get some insights out of available data, you might as well just want to export that information and share it with your colleagues. And we do, of course, offer varying levels of flexibility here from the export types. So it can be both PowerPoint and PDF, but also whether you want to export the entire dashboard, specific elements, or specific tabs. Of course, there are other elements also and capabilities like on-demand export or scheduled export via email. So that's kind of more going in the direction of collaboration and sharing. So we heard that this is definitely one of the interesting use cases that can augment the offerings of the other two skills. So this one will be coming out in February as well. So with that, I'm going to move on to the data viz generation. So I'm going to go through kind of data viz generation features, just going to talk a little bit about it, and then I'm going to make a pause and see if we have some questions or there are some interesting comments. So data viz generation, obviously, I did talk about it already for a couple of minutes, but just to kind of reiterate what are we doing here, and you can see a screenshot which hopefully can help you understand how data viz generation looks like. At the very right in the Now Assist panel, user can type in a prompt, which will result with a data visualization. So the whole point is to generate charts or reports from text. And to get kind of to the next level of details, there are different chart types that we can support. Initially for August, it was basically limited to pie, bar, and score. In November, and as I'm going to show you in the demo section, we have extended support to way more chart types. The benefits, I'll leave that to you, but obviously you don't have to go either to Data Viz Designer to generate a new chart. You don't have to go to that inline dashboards and navigate through config panel, trying to find the data source. So there's a lot of that is abstracted and is simply available through prompt. So that's kind of the basic, the core capability. I did mention actions when I talked about fundamental pillars. So the type of actions that we are offering here, that one of the actions is add to dashboard. So while you are in the Now Assist panel, you see the generated data visualization, but if it's something that is relevant, interesting, and you want to keep it, obviously you want to add it to dashboard. So that is the capability that we're offering here. And there are two kind of flavors of this add to dashboard action. One of which is if you are in a dashboard context, of course, you want to add it to that, to the current dashboard, but you might also want to add it to some other dashboard for which you have the edit rights, but you just kind of think, okay, maybe this is interesting. I'm not in that dashboard, but I want to add it. So I have a updated version there. So that's kind of, that was our thought process. And that is the first action that we have implemented and is available in August. The second action is actually continuing the customization process in the Data Viz Designer. So hopefully many of you are familiar with the Data Viz Designer, which provides very high level of flexibility and customizations when it comes to modifying certain properties of the data visualization or a chart, and actually offers you to save it, which is very important. So the thought process here is we're really speeding up the process of creating initial visualization. But if you want to update the legend or labels or colors or whatever that might be the case, you can do it in the Viz Designer and you can save it or add it to dashboard from there. So that is the second action we have implemented, again, available in August, which means it is already available as a part of August release within Creator Pro Plus. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the features which we are currently busy with, some of which I'm gonna demo to you, but officially would be available as of November. So the first one I'm gonna start from the left is a follow-up data viz refinement. So what this is basically enabling users to modify certain properties of the data viz that is generated. So the initial version might be generated, but the user might want to iterate on that visualization by altering some properties ranging from chart type to condition or data source. So these are different kind of properties of a chart that can be modified, and we are really facilitating and making it easier for the user to modify through these follow-up dialogue-driven conversation. The second one is add to any dashboard, which is a continuation of what I mentioned for August. Basically, while in August we're just supporting adding to current dashboard, you might as well add it to any dashboard for which you have the edit rights. So I'm going to show you how that looks like in the demo in a couple of minutes. And of course, we are continuing to support more chart types. And you can read here which ones we have included in November release. And again, I will show how that looks like in the demo. Now, keep in mind that while we talk about chart types as a single entity, there are kind of chart types groups, and depending on a certain group, there might be certain properties that the user has to define. So while that might be very important while you are building a chart or the data visualization in the Data Viz Designer in Now Assist panel, that's going to be abstracted and make it way easier for the user. So that's what is coming in November. And before I talk more about a little bit about Insight, I want to make a quick pause and just check if we have some questions, if some of them
Yes.
were not answered or something maybe I want to highlight.
Yes, we do have a couple of questions I think we wanted to answer live. Zahi, I don't know if you wanted to grab those or if you were just kind of marking it for
I can
answering
start.
live. Okay.
Yeah, the first question is actually related to the migration of interactive filters. Not related to the context of this conversation. I will say that interactive filters migration is not supported in Washington and is supported in Xanadu. So just wanted to get that out of the way. And maybe we'll take Jane's question second. And Jane is asking, does Analytic Generator has the ability to add additional filters to pre-captured indicator sources, or will it force filtering based on the captured breakdowns? So filtering of indicators will only be supported for the pre-configured breakdowns.
Yeah. So the idea is if that condition or whatever that you want to add on to the indicator source, if it's not already captured as part of the collection job as a breakdown, then no, it would not. But if it is, then yes, it'll be there.
And maybe a last one before we continue. We also have Stephen's question, but this will probably require a longer answer. We have a question from Daniel. If ServiceNow is planning to allow the embedding of I assume the Now Assist panel outside of ServiceNow? Well, the answer is I'm not aware of any plans, but then maybe if you're aware.
I will take this as really more of a question about just dashboard and charts in general. Would they be allowed to be embedded to outside? What I might, and I'll put it in the answer here. I'll type it in the answer, but what I would recommend is looking at the Academy session that we held back on, I want to say it was the 7th of August, a couple of weeks, 9th of August, at some point recently in the past, where we talked about exporting dashboards in Platform Analytics and kind of where we are going with that. That should address that question for you, if that's more the direction that you're going. So when it comes to directly embedding in third-party apps and sites, I don't, again, one of the other folks can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that is a direction that we're looking at right now, but we are looking at ways to export through emails and PDFs and things of that sort to be able to get to people that are outside the organization.
Directly embedding introduces an amazing amount of security issues. So I think that's one of the things that we're always very cautious of. We want to make sure that we're not opening doors that we don't want to have open. And I think in general, we recommend reporting in ServiceNow for the most secure. We can take advantage of all the ACLs we have and all the security on top of that. And then exporting it out, there are tools and techniques you can have, as Dan mentioned. But there are things you definitely want to be very conscious of in terms of security and where your data is going.
Hopefully
right, sounds good. So I'm going through the questions. There were two interesting ones, so let me just kind of circle back. I think one, I see Zahi, you did the answer, but I think it's interesting maybe to share it with everyone. So the question was whether analytics creation needs any model to be trained. So the answer is no. And also kind of as a segue to another question, which is whether whether support of analytics generation is restricted to out-of-the-box fields, indicators, tables, and so forth. No, so it does support custom data tables as well. I will, during the demo, I will show one interesting capability that we support, which is synonyms, which would help you kind of fine tune to your specific, let's say, language or synonyms that you are using for certain tables. So there's no need to fine tune or accommodate LLM to your certain use cases. The LLM that we are embedding as a part of the solution is trained on the ServiceNow data model and indicators and data tables that are originating from different applications. So in that sense, we are kind of casting the net very broadly, but if there are some synonyms or certain ways in which you call certain tables or indicators, we do support a way to include that as well. I just want to answer that. Let me see, will analytics generation work with UX analytics and AI search reports and dashboards? So as of now, I think on the UX analytics, it is something that we are considering as a part of the roadmap, so it's not supported currently. And AI search reports and dashboard, which is basically search. And so there are activities within ServiceNow to streamline some of the capabilities around analytics having to do with some of the things that are mentioned here. So definitely we'll be sharing more updates in the foreseeable future. Then, Zahi, is there anything else you see maybe you want to address now before we move forward?
We have a great question from Steven. Maybe we're just gonna keep it for the end, and I think we can move forward for now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I have just kind of did a recap of data viz generation capability, and hopefully it did provide some clarity before we move to demo, which will be definitely much better. And next to data viz generation, I did mention that we have insight generation, which is kind of next step when the user is interacting with analytics. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to kind of take a lot of time here, just a few minutes to hit the most important points, because when it comes to analytics and Gen AI, talking to users, not only our customers, but also some of the internal users from app teams, the line between what is generating a data visualization versus what is generating an insight, it might not be fully clear. So while with data viz generation, we are really focusing on generating analytics artifact in the form of report or list or charts, with insights, we are kind of going one step further, which is trying to understand what are the interesting aspects of data, what are the patterns, what are the trends, and what is basically the most relevant out of that information. And to do that, we would be building on another feature which was delivered in Washington called Proactive Insights, but obviously we want to leverage the power and capabilities of LLMs, and also kind of to take that personalization aspect into account and collect different metadata points that will help us kind of provide more context-aware insights and personalized to that user persona. So that was quite a lot that I shared on insights. So at the time, what I would like to share and what you can take with you is that insights are coming out in February as PowerPoint generation. So I'm pretty sure that this is just the first session of many that we will have on this subject. So with that in mind, you can expect further updates down the line when it comes to insight generation. So that's the last slide in the section that I wanted to share. And now I really want to move to the demo, and maybe we can see on a real instance how some of these things can look like. So if that's okay, I will stop sharing my PPT and switch over to my instance. So there are a couple of things that I want to share in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll not rush through the demo, but please then do stop me if you see some question which would require to be addressed immediately. So what I'm going to start with, first, I did mention Now Assist, I don't know how many times. We can take account from this report, but let me jump right into Now Assist Admin, because you just need to kind of grasp that the Now Assist Admin is really the center for activating different plugins and different skills. So Now Assist features, I mean, there's a nice dashboard here, which plugins are installed, but that's not the point why I'm sharing here. I just want to show that we do have different skills that are folded under different packages within technology workflows, within customer, employee, and we have one under creator. So if you go here, you're going to see that Now Assist skill for creator, which is what you are getting as a part of Now Assist for Creator Pro Plus offering. There are, as of now, 6 different skills, and you can see on this instance, I have activated a few of them. So the ones that is of our interest is analytics. And you can see the details here. This is kind of different analytic skills. And the one that we want to focus on today is data visualization generation. So this is activated. Great. Let's go ahead and check it out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into dashboards and just open one dashboard, which is obviously empty for a P Academy session. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to hop into Now Assist, tag it here, and we are in the Now Assist panel. So what you do essentially, you can just start typing here your prompt, and the skill discovery will figure out that this has to do with analytics, or you can select the skill by clicking this create a data visualization. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select create a data visualization because I want to show you one guideline here. So once you do that, you have a default message with a clickable link, and there's a model page that opens up. So this is very important before you as a user start typing and crafting different prompts based on which you want to generate a data visualization. It is very instructive to read through this and kind of familiarize yourself with what is included and how a certain prompt should be composed. So there are a couple of things here. I'm just going to kind of power through them. I'm not going to kind of spend a lot of time, but some keywords which you can use in your phrases, metrics or counts. What are the type of data manipulation and aggregations you can apply, trends over time, sorting, grouping, dates, and of course, for each of these, you have an example how a certain prompt can look like. The type of visualization, as I mentioned, for August release, it was just these three, but actually in the demo itself, I can show you the new ones. And we also have the filtering, which is basically composing conditions. So if you are familiar with SQL, I believe this will resonate very, very easily with you. And also some other information. But another point I want to make here, your system admin can add synonyms and semantic shortcuts in the NLQ tool. So if you go here and click on this, you can jump to the product documentation. But basically, what it says is that you can go to, let me jump, should be straightforward. If you go to NLQ, we have this synonym. So if there is this is not obviously fine tuning, but this will help you a lot if there are certain synonyms that you use on a daily basis, or just something certain terms that you are using internally within the company, or this kind of specific. So this can help our internal LLM be way more accurate and address your prompt in a way it should. So just wanted to kind of share that we have that. And of course, if you navigate here and you go to jump to the product documentation, you can read basically all of this a bit more extensively, but it's pretty simple. So let me jump back to my dashboard. All right, so we are back in the Now Assist panel. So let's give it a try typing some of these prompts, keeping in mind some of these guidelines that I've mentioned. So of course, I'm going to go with a most popular table in ServiceNow, incidents group by state, let's say. So I'm going to hit, so let's see what comes back. Now, it is important, like you don't have to type show me, we don't have to even type group by, but the by should be enough. So let's see what will be generated. So the way the response is composed, I'm just going to take 1 second to explain this because this will be a repeating pattern. The first message that comes out is basically kind of a summarized message, what exactly we have understood and what exactly was generated. So it goes to say that this is a bar chart, this is the table source name, the incident, group by state, data visualization created by Now Assist, and then we have the chart, and we have a couple of actions here. So one thing we have concluded early on that we cannot kind of overwhelm this tiny chart in the side panel with a lot of information. So the user can hit this view details, and in the model page we have more information, basically reiterating what is a table, what is the aggregation function, group by, and visualization type. So that's pretty much kind of what you can do, and to inspect whether the chart makes sense. Is this what you were looking for, or maybe you want to modify something? Add to dashboard and add to current dashboard. So these are kind of two flavors I was talking about. Add to dashboard would add it to this dashboard, right? Just hitting it here. We also do support drag and drop. Maybe it's not so obvious from the chart, but you can just drag and drop it on if you just prefer that. But also we have this add to dashboard. So by hitting this add to dashboard, you get this new model page, and you can search for dashboards for which you have the edit rights. And of course, I think I have my PA Academy here, but I already added. But the point is, you can use and you can add to multiple dashboards if you want. Another point I want to make here is, you see here, there's a banner saying technical dashboards are not available. So this means that adding visualization to dashboard as of now is limited to inline dashboards. Technical dashboards and UIB pages is something we would be addressing in the coming releases. Also, you might have seen we have created new dashboards, so you can create a new dashboard from scratch and add this chart. And the last option here, as I was explaining in my presentation, we also have edit visualization. So what happens, we just kind of import this entire data visualization in the Data Viz Designer. And here you can continue the customization process, and you can change header labels. There is a lot of different properties that can change, and then you can save and add it again to a different dashboard. But that's not what I will be doing here. Maybe let's go back to my flow. I just wanted to show you different options that you can do with a generated visualization. Now, sticking with the incident table, let's say I don't like this chart, and I want to have a horizontal chart, horizontal bar chart of incident group by priority. So I'm going to change the column over which the aggregation is performed. So this time I'm kind of being very specific on the chart type. I might have as well have gone to Data Viz Designer and changed it there, the chart type, but this way it should be easier if I'm just kind of typing. So here's the new chart that is generated. Seems to be exactly what I asked. Aggregation is this type and priority, so I'm just going to add it here. Just to have kind of a different chart type. So this is supporting this additional chart types, and I just want to have it there. So there might be some other chart types which you are using more or less frequently, but nevertheless, I just want to kind of mention them here. One of which is donut, which can be sometimes very interesting. So let's say donut chart of incidents. So I don't really know by heart what exactly I need to specify here for a donut chart, but I'm pretty sure that the table will not cut it. So let's see what the system comes back with. So there is a message. I've just specified incidents, and there's a message back saying that for this chart to be produced, I need to specify what is the column. So let's say there's a search. I'm just going to hit active here. So okay, I want to have it on the active, and here it is. Let's see. This is the number of active and inactive. So great. I'm just going to add it here. Now, I'm just going to show another chart type, which is, let's say, dial of high priority incidents. So you can see that I'm already kind of applying filtering here because I just want to see high priority. So that's the condition that should be included. And when this is specified, there are a couple of things that should be selected by users. So the first one is aggregation function. So dial chart assumes that the aggregation function should be specified. No, I'm going to say count distinct. Good. And now next to that, I also have to specify the column over which we're going to apply this segregation. So let's say assigned to. So what this actually says is the number of distinct assignees for incidents that I have specified. So we have 4 in this data set. So what this quick kind of a couple of actions, we facilitate the process of selecting certain properties, but not only that, but also which properties need to be defined for which chart type. So if a user is coming from the point where, okay, I kind of have an idea how my dashboard should look like or what the chart type should be, but I don't know really what I need to select. So this is the way we are helping. And let me kind of move to the other table. So I'm just going to hit problems. I know there's a table problems, but I don't know really how it looks like. So the first thing, okay, interesting. I didn't get that right. It's actually problem, not problems, but the LLM should cope with that rather easily. So I didn't specify any conditions, so it's really a table. So what it produces is a list. So we can open this list and we can see how it looks like. I can go to view all and jump and see the entire table, but I just kind of want to get an idea of what are the columns. Okay, I have state, I have the resolution code, so this is interesting. So let me type in a different one. By the way, I can just add to this dashboard, so I have this list, just in case. But I'm gonna do another query here, which is a problem where, let's say, state is closed. By resolution node, I think that was the one, resolution code. All right, so I didn't have the right group by, I just said by, and I think that should be handled by the Now Assist. So, okay, this is a bar chart from table problem. I'm just gonna kind of inspect it. It'd be good. All right, so I can add this one as well. So that's kind of the type of capabilities, and you can see while you are iterating on these data visualizations, it's going pretty fast, and it is definitely helping in productivity and the time you need. Of course, if you need to tweak something, and truth to be told, you always will have to do some fine touches, labels or colors or legend or whatever. You can do that here, or you can do it in the Viz Designer. Of course, in the upcoming releases, our intention is to bring the most important capabilities and enable user to modify through text. There's one more prompt I'll type, and before we finalize this demo section, and that is, as you might have seen in most of these prompts, the way it works, I kind of put a prompt and then we try to figure out what is the table that this prompt is linked to. But we're also, we can visualize indicators. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try, I think we have column chart, number of open incidents, right? So I think we should have some indicator values for this, and the column chart should be able to be generated for this indicator. So in this case, the prompt will be looking to figure out, okay, number of open incidents, and then the column chart. And here it is, like this is the column chart is for analytic source name, number of open incidents, and I can see the details, and there are some values. So this one got it right. But we do also support, we provide a follow-up question, because this was an indicator. We can also generate or answer this question by using data table information. So we can do that as well, but I'm just not going to do it at this time, and I can just add it here. So that concludes the demo part. I don't want to exhaust and give too many examples, but I hope this was helpful in understanding some of the capabilities we have shipped in August, and some that are coming in November. So I'm going to pause here and maybe leave some time for questions and comments. So
yes,
Dan,
great.
back to you.
Fantastic, Amir. Thank you very much. So let's see if we can a couple in here that we haven't answered yet that would be good to answer generally. Let's see how we answered a related question in the text answers, but there's a question from Brad about how can we use this to ensure the visualizations are shared with the correct users and audience. I don't believe that is yet within the scope that you can controlling the sharing. But I want to
But Dan, that was a problem with responsive dashboards, right? Where
right, it's nothing new.
Many of us had the problem where you had to share you had to have the ACL on the data, you had to have the report shared, and then you had to share the dashboard. But that's not an issue with inline dashboards and platform analytics dashboards, because once you share the dashboard, you've shared the visualizations. So we got rid of that headache, unless somebody can correct me.
Yes.
So as long as the dashboard shared with the right people, it's good. There's not that second level of sharing that you have to deal with. So hopefully that should help and ease. When I heard that question, that's what I heard is did I do it right and the automation, all that stuff, and we just got rid of that layer. So make sure you share the dashboard correctly and everything else will flow.
That's a good clarification.
And maybe to repeat a question that actually showed up a few times, can analytics generation find or alert on duplications? So for example, a data visualization that is saved, but we already have a different one. So the answer is no. But I also wrote in the chat that we are actually going to launch a new analytics management tool, probably as part of the Zurich release, that will allow customers to do exactly that. So identify duplicate artifacts and in general, organize the entire analytics library. So not in the scope of analytics generation, but definitely on our roadmap.
No, I'm just reading through outstanding questions. So,
yeah,
if you want to pick up, what?
There's the one question about the time frame. What time frame does Now Assist use by default when not specified in the query? I'm going to assume it's all just, if it's using an indicator versus a real-time query.
Right. So depending on the data source, meaning if it's an indicator or a data table and a chart type and the application method, there might be different default settings. I don't know. I don't want to enumerate by heart which default settings are, but I believe we have documented that. And if we haven't, we definitely will.
Great, thank you. Then another big, I think, just a quick question about interactivity. Can I enter any kind of table configuration? Oh, that was a different one. Assuming there's one visualization provided by Now Assist, I just want to further adjust it. Like, for example, changing it from a column to a bar chart. Can I just do that interactively?
Yes. I mean, not obviously in the demo that I just gave, but this is something that will be supported in November as a part of follow-up data viz refinement, which means if you have generated a data visualization of bar chart type and you want to kind of use different chart type within the same category without altering some of the configuration properties, you can do that within panel interactively. So this is something we'll be supporting in November.
So if I wanted to comment on it after I get the sample, I'd say, change to horizontal.
Exactly.
That would work.
Exactly. So the way it's going to work after data visualization is generated, there will be a follow-up message saying, "Hey, do you want to modify this?" And if you select yes, then you'll be given some options as to what can be modified, and that includes chart type, or some of the conditions or filters or aggregation methods depending on the chart type. So definitely it will be interactive.
All right. Well, we've only got 5 minutes left, so I think we probably should address, because I think it's a question, Stephen's question, because it's going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to have. Now, I don't know how many people have used the configuration generator plugin in the past. It is an old plugin we had that if you had like custom tables, you could say, or a custom app, you could just say, I want to create just a basic core set of dashboards based upon my custom table, as opposed to having to create. So it'll do things like, how many records are open, how many, that sort of thing. So it works out. Thanks, Stephen. Yes, it also works out of the box tables, but our primary use case was around custom apps and custom tables. So the question here, though, is about, what is the main, and I'll reframe this slightly diplomatically for you, Stephen, because I'm a diplomat. How is this going to give us value above and beyond what we used to be able to get from that configuration generator, and why would we not just kind of make that a more powerful tool? So I'll kind of throw that on to the whole team here.
I will say with the configuration generator, it was useful. I totally acknowledge that, but the path we took was, especially for the out of the box stuff, was we should ship better out of the box content. So we've spent years shipping better out of the box content. And we want to make sure there is out of the box content for everything that's very use case specific. The configuration generator did work for task-based stuff, which a lot of it is, but it was very vanilla when it came through. And we wanted to ship again better content that came out, so we didn't invest in that because that was kind of a scapegoat for us. I never liked the comment from ServiceNow to be like, well, you can build it yourself. My goal is that you shouldn't have to. We want all of our applications to come with the analytics you need, and basically you can just tweak them based off of your customizations, right? We added a new child table, we added a new field. Well, then you're going to update the analytics, but not have to generate everything from scratch. You get so much fragmentation; it's impossible to update. So it creates a lot of tech debt when we splinter off and create new stuff. So we wanted to be, I think this gives us the opportunity then to be much more surgical. So we can take an out of the box dashboard and you can just add a new visualization that you want to have, right? And especially as we get to the other enhancements that were talked about, how do we let you enhance what we have out of the box rather than build from scratch? And that's I think the split between configuration generator, where you are building everything from scratch, and this, which gives us a much more fine-tuned approach to be able to create just the new visualization you want or that you need. I can talk for 2 more minutes if that's
well. We got the 2 minutes, but I don't know if there's anything else that Zahi's typing an answer to the one, and that's well. Actually, we probably should. I know I'm typing an answer, but I should probably also do the quick wrap up here too. And so here, I'll just do my quick answer of the question about the analysis use historic details. So it doesn't create any new data sources. It just uses existing indicator sources or real-time queries, depending upon how the query is written. So,
well, Dan, as you're getting ready to wrap up, I'll add in this too with the analytics generation, everything we've had in here. I'm assuming most of us are in this boat, whether it is ServiceNow or anything else that's out there. Generative AI, I've never seen a technology get so much better so quickly to come through. What you're seeing is the first version of stuff, and in general, we have not liked to talk about what's coming. But as Amir talked about, like, well, this is what's coming out in November, and this is what we're working on for next year. There are going to be major improvements from here. If you have access to this and use it, please let us know your feedback. You can reach out to us and let us know, hey, I'd like it to have this use case is not working well. I'd like it to do this. The comments that you're putting in here, the questions, we take these back. Amir and Zahi are on here to listen directly, but we pass this back to our product team and make sure that they understand what you're looking for. So try it, ask questions, tell us what you think it should do so that we can get it to do that. And again, I've never seen anything where we've been able to respond so quickly to make big improvements really, really fast and get them to you almost all through the store, which means you don't have to necessarily do a family upgrade. And so try it, use it, give us your feedback, and let's get it to do what you want it to do. And now back to you.
All right. And I know we're at time here, so I'll just do the quick wrap up of the resources we have available. There are our community. If you've not been out to the ServiceNow, the Platform Analytics community, it is a phenomenal resource. We do almost all of our, anything beyond just the manual, the documentation site, anything that we have on good practices, best practices, anything of that sort, you're going to see out on the community site, on the community page for Platform Analytics. That's really a great resource to go to. So I just want to make a quick pitch for that, and there's lots of information out there. Let's see, and there's the Platform Analytics Academy community page. This is where you will find all the recordings of previous Academy sessions, as well as information and links for upcoming sessions. Okay, that's please links for resources in the chat. We could probably put that. I know we're probably going to be wrapped up before we get a chance to do that. So I don't know if anyone can, but it'll be, yeah. So now, just a reminder, we do have lots of good training opportunities out there, and more is being built for platform analytics experience as we speak. So I talk with our training team regularly. So there is a lot of now learning resources. There already exist some really good trainings for platform analytics experience, and that's just being built upon. In addition to redoing a lot of our existing trainings in the new platform analytics world. So, okay, we have a lot of curated content in our enablement toolkit. I think I did put a link out there during one of the chats. I'm not completely sure, but I know it's here in the short link here as well. And again, this presentation will be shared as well, so that will also be available for the resources link and all that after the fact. All right, thank you everyone. Appreciate your time, and wish you all a great rest of your week.